Long days and pleasant nights, fellow travelers along the path of the beam. I am known on this level of the tower as Jaime and Fuego, and if it please ya, join me for a little bit of palaver here on Hail to Stephen King, a very, very special installment of this episode because this is basically, for constant readers like myself, the equivalent of Christmas morning, y'all. Today, we have a new Stephen King book! Oh, yes. This is one that I have been very, very excited about as time has gone on. The Outsider, y'all. Yes, that's right. Today being May 22nd, this is King's 560 page, I want to say. Yeah, 560 pages, and then we get a little author's note at the end. So this is not anything like one of these button box or anything, which is really funny just thinking back to last year in the fact that we had two different Stephen King books that came out, but they were both collaborative efforts. And if I'm going to be frank, I can't say I was the hugest fan of either. Now, I did find a lot more of interesting merit in Sleeping Beauties, but I just didn't really care for going these button box, and you can find my reviews of both of those books here on Hail to Stephen King in the Stephen King themed playlist on the Horror Show. But as you can see by all the books beside me, Stephen King is my favorite author, and over the last 7.5 years or so, almost 8 years at this point, I decided to start with the very first published work of his, Carrie, and work book by book by book, all the way through the entirety of all of his published works. I was even doing the short stories in the published order, so I was like going and I'm like, okay, Night Shift. When was this one published? Was it before Carrie? Okay, cool, so I need to read this before Carrie, and so on. So I was even like skipping through the different stories in the shorts just so I could do everything in the order that King published it, whether it was a short or a novel or whatever. And so I've essentially been twiddling my thumbs since last September when Sleeping Beauties came out. So this is so exciting for me today, y'all. And so, yeah, if you're not familiar with the premise of The Outsider, and I know that I have a lot of international fans and stuff that tune into this program, and Thankee Sai, I appreciate all of you who do that. And I know some of you don't have this available in your region just yet, so I'm pretty sure this is the same thing that is on the website, but just in case you haven't seen it, a little description in the sleeve here is an unspeakable crime, an abundance of evidence, a confounding investigation. In The Outsider, Stephen King delivers one of his most unsettling and compulsively readable stories. An 11-year-old boy's violated corpse is found in a town park. Eyewitnesses and fingerprints point unmistakably to one of Flint City's most popular citizens. He is Terry Maitland, Little League coach, English teacher, husband and father of 2 girls. Detective Ralph Anderson, whose son Maitland once coached, orders a quick and very public arrest. The case seems ironclad, especially when Anderson and the district attorney are able to add DNA evidence to go with the fingerprints and witnesses. But Maitland has an alibi, and it turns out his story has incontrovertible evidence of its own. How can 2 opposing stories be true? What happens to a family when an accusation of this magnitude is delivered? When must reason or rationality be abandoned in order to explain the inexplicable? As the investigation expands and horrifying answers begin to emerge, King's propulsive story kicks into high gear, generating strong tension and almost unbearable suspense. Terry Maitland seems like a nice guy, but is he wearing another face? When the answer comes, it will shock as only Stephen King can. So guys, I am really, really pumped about this for sheer fact that once again King writing on his own and just kind of doing something completely different that not written with somebody else and not in a series, you know, because I mean, if you remember, the last non-series, non-collaborative thing that he did was Revival, you know, because Bizarre Bad Dreams, all of those stories were collected from, you know, like over time and stuff like that. So if we're talking one big singular piece that wasn't assembled, you know, Frankenstein style like all of his big collections are, and wasn't a collaborative effort or in a series like the Three Hodges ones was, yeah, this is our first one since Revival, and I love Revival, man. Holy shnikes do I love Revival. It's in my top 10 for King ever. I adore Revival. And so I'm really curious about just, I made just a few little notes and stuff. Like, I was just going through the different chapter headings and stuff like that. And so essentially this book basically starts out, and I'm not going to like spoil anything here because I haven't even started reading this yet. I'm going to start pounding through it tonight. But the opening quote is very intriguing. It's by Colin Wilson. I'm assuming from a song. It's called The Country of the Blind, and perhaps this gives a little hint as to what we can expect in this book. So the quote is, "Thought only gives the world an appearance of order to anyone weak enough to be convinced by its show." Yeah, and so I'm basically gauging that the theme of this, especially from what they said in the sleeve as well, is that appearances can be deceiving, and that the whole mystery of this, in a sense, is pretty much going to be how people probably put on faces for different situations, for, you know, I mean, let's say you have like a sordid past of some sort, and you go and you relocate to a different town or city or whatever, because everybody where you used to live before knows just your track record and knows how effed up you've been, and you've burned all these bridges and whatnot, and so you decide, hey, change of scenery is in order because I need to start fresh, and I need to just put on a new face of the way I want to be perceived instead of all of the impressions that I tainted and stuff. And so I'm kind of wondering and theorizing if possibly, you know, this little league coach, this guy who, that's the one thing, maybe they're hinting at too much. I'm actually hoping that perhaps it's not necessarily this guy. Maybe there's like a weird, who knows, I'm really hoping that there is a supernatural aspect to this, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I mean, if we had like some weird shapeshifter or just some form of, I don't know, I guess, you know, this Ralph guy could, or excuse me, this Ralph is the investigator, I believe. This Terry guy, you know, who knows if he could be just, you know, some sort of, you know, have a connection to any type of supernatural presence and whatnot. But so yeah, just themes of duality, themes of appearances, being deceiving, stuff like that. I'm actually really curious what kinds of twists and turns we have to go on with this. And it's broken down into sections, the first one being the arrest, and then we jump into, you know, all kinds of stuff beyond there, from sorry to the arraignment to it's a chapter called Yellow, Footsteps and Cantaloupe. I mean, so these headings aren't really, you know, giving us any sort of indications as to what we could potentially be dealing with. I'm going to take some of these little bookmarker things out. But nonetheless, I am extremely, extremely excited to start reading this, y'all. And, you know, I don't know. It's being a police, you know, and the procedural kind of thing and an investigation and whatnot. I mean, I honestly think it would be super dope if we had something, maybe, I loved the Hodges trilogy, and I felt like they kind of ended on, I don't want to say a weak, well, they did end on a weak note, because in my opinion, it was the weakest entry, the third one, Finders Keepers, and I didn't get as much resolution within that as I kind of was thinking I was going to. And it was funny how King inevitably like made it supernatural. So I don't know, wouldn't it be cool if there's a connection of some sort? I think that might be kind of dope. But, you know, who the hell knows? This story could be taking place before Hodges dies. Who knows? Hodges could even make an appearance or something. The only thing that's given me like that little feeling and that little hint is because of the fact that, you know, this being an investigation and a murder mystery and all of that, who knows? You know, maybe we could even see some of Hodges' homies show up or something like that. But, so, I am making this video very, very brief, guys, because of the fact that, first and foremost, we have 3 Stephen King panels that I am doing this weekend, along with Cecil Laird, Marsha Parker, Dirk, Susie, various other members of the team are going to be helping out. And there is going to be, on Saturday, May 26th at Phoenix Comic Fest in downtown Phoenix at the Phoenix Convention Center. We will be doing at 3 p.m. that Saturday a big anniversary celebration, 40 years, y'all, of The Stand. I cannot wait to do that. Then later that evening at 9 p.m. on May 26th, also at the Phoenix Convention Center, we are going to be celebrating 35 years of Pet Sematary. Yeah! And then on Sunday, May 27th, is when we are doing our IT panel, which is going to be looking forward to Chapter 2, which has already announced a bunch of castings, so we're going to be discussing that. And we're also going to be looking back at the first Mochetti remake. We're going to do some discussion about the miniseries, about a fan comic adaptation that we did some coverage about. We're going to talk about the original novel. It's going to be a very fun set of panels, and that one, once again, is at 12 noon on Sunday, May 27th. So if you are anywhere close and able to come out and actually, you know, sit in on any of these panels, say what's up to us, we would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, there's still tons of passes available. Phoenix Comic Fest, formerly Phoenix Comic Con. It's one of the top 5 you know, comic conventions in the country, and with good reason. Last year we broke attendance numbers of over 6 figures for the first time. Terrific group of celebrities and various other people, from, you know, Michael Rooker to William Shatner to, I mean, lots and lots of people. It's, I mean, great artists and writers like, you know, Scott Snyder, Jai Lee. It's going to be a tremendous weekend. So you can either get a single day pass or you can get a full event pass. And yeah, we also have 2 other panels that we will be running. One is going to be about when horror goes wrong, and that is on that one is on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. And then on Sunday we are heading up another great horror debate. But I've been Jaime and Fuego. You can find me on all social media sectors: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I need to start reading this. I'm sorry for making this video brief, guys, but I'm jonesing. And I also have the Audible as well, so I'm gonna be speeding through this as quickly as I can. As I've said on this program before, I like to, when I'm going through a King book, or pretty much any book at this point, I found that, you know, if I don't have as much time to read in a particular week, or, you know, if I'm doing laundry, or if I'm, you know, washing the dishes, whatever, yard work, whatever the hell it may be, driving around, you know, to and from the horror show studios, or to the day job, or to band practice, or whatever it may be, take a break from the book, pop in the Audible, or audiobooks.com is another one that I've used previously. There's also Scribd and all kinds of different streaming services you can use for the different King books as well, but you can continue along with the story as opposed to just stopping dead in your tracks. Let's say you're like, damn it, I've got an appointment to get to and I'm right in the middle of a chapter. Well, if you just throw on the audiobook, you can finish that chapter on your way to where you're trying to be. So that's my suggestion, take it or leave it, you know, but I just really, there's some great audiobooks too. I mean, Michael C. Hall did an incredible job with the Pet Sematary one that was recently released. So I can't wait for this weekend to talk about my 3 favorite Stephen King books, and I can't wait to get started on this new, fingers firmly crossed, amazing entry into the King canon. So once again, constant readers and viewers, you all have been awesome. I've been Fuego, and until the Wheel of Ka comes around once more, hasta luego, sin amigos. I hope that it is sooner rather than later, and until we meet once again, remember, stay scared and read Stephen King. That's right. Go pick up a copy of this book. Let's get King on that bestseller shizzle. What?